Welcome back to the channel, folks. This week I'm back in sweet home Chicago. Chicagoland's where I grew up, and I'm here at South Shore Golf Course this week playing with my Illinois Heritage golf buddy Bill Pekara. This is a really cool golf course, 9-holer, used to be the South Shore Country Club, and was designed in 1906 by Tom Bendelow, who also designed the nearby Jackson Park 18-hole course. So this was a pretty exclusive country club back in the day until the Chicago Park District bought it in 1975. And you may recognize the exterior as the Palace Hotel Ballroom in the Blues Brothers. Since then, the main building, which dates back to 1916, has been turned into the South Shore Cultural Center, and it was the site of Michelle and Barack Obama's wedding in 1992. There's also big plans for the golf course, which I'll get into as we go. But first, let's take a look at what's in the bag, sponsored by Stewart and Jacoby. I'm using pretty much a totally different set for this round of all authentic clubs, with just 2 carryovers from my previous primary set that I'll get into as we go. I'm using a Callaway Super Soft for my ball. My buddy Bill's using a vintage McGregor set from the early 60s that includes some flame ceramic irons. Here's a scorecard for South Shore, playing from the whites, which is about the same as the blues, 2,700 yards. Number 1's a par 4, 343 yards with a slight dogleg left. Here's Bill in classic early 60s vintage style all the way through, from clubs to outfit. I even got dressed up for this one too with a bow tie. It's a beautiful but noisy late summer day here in Chicago. Cicadas were in full chorus, as were the helicopters above. That's one of the charms of playing in the city though, lots going on around you. So here's the first look at one of the new clubs in my bag. That's a Tom Morris Mashie, and I was getting along with this one pretty quick. And here you're going to notice a different chipping approach. This is actually due to a quick lesson that I got from single plane swing coach Parker Elrod earlier that week at Lasonia. You might remember from the Lasonia course vlog that I mentioned my swing fell apart in the middle of this tournament. Fortunately, Parker was at this event, and this is where I decided that I was going to start working on the single plane swing with his help. And he gave me some tips on chipping and putting that I started using right away, though still need to practice quite a bit. Good news is I've gotten a lot better since this round with the chipping and especially with the putting. Here's a nice chip up from Bill. Yeah, the putting stroke basically involved me having a much wider stance than I was using before, and that automatically gave me more stability. I also really like the more upright approach. Makes me use my shoulders more, and even though these putts aren't really indicative of that, I've gotten much better with my putting since I've switched to the single plane. So moving on to number 2, par 4, 432 yards. You get your first glimpse of the skyline there. Nice backdrop. Lake Michigan off on the right side. Fortunately, I'm not threatening to get over there. Bill was having a little bit of trouble off the tee in the early going here, topping the ball. Here's another new club. This is a Tom Stewart J iron. I've talked to a couple Tom Stewart experts. They've never seen a J iron, but it seems like it was probably a custom club made for the A.L. Johnston Company, which is a sporting goods retailer in Boston, and actually a pretty high volume Tom Stewart distributor, because there are quite a few custom clubs that Stewart made for Johnston over the years. I've got a couple of them. Here's another new club. This is a Mashie Niblick made by Robert Condy of St. Andrews. Nice heavy 48 degree club, good for chipping. That was a pretty good chip there with it. Another thing I'll say about the single plane putting approach is I'm much more confident with short putts, like I was right there.
Great. I'm liking this a lot.
So moving on to number 3, par 4, 435 yards. Here you can see the really tight fairways that South Shore is known for. That and small greens. But back to the fairways, the average width of the fairways here is only 20 yards, which actually makes them tighter than Oakmont. And with the street on the right side and the trees on the left, you really have a lot to think about off the tee there. Definitely don't want to go out of bounds into the street, which happens. So fortunately, bad tee shot got me off on the left side, but a nice shot there with the Mashie, and another one with the Tom Morris Mashie. So as I said, I got along with this club right away. Using it for a chip shot here that came up a little short, but left me with this short chip, which I've gotten pretty good at using the mashie. Had a nice run at it there. And there's another good short putt for me with the single plane. All right, number 4, par 4, 376 yards. And you get a little bit of character toward the green with that bunker placed in the fairway. Again, though, you've got South Shore Drive on the right side, and it works as a magnet sometimes. That ball didn't look from the shot tracer like it was going, but it actually hit a tree on the fence line and bounced back to where the shot tracer ended up. So I got really lucky there. Here's Bill with a really nice swing. Unfortunately, ended up in the bunker up there, that middle one. I feel like hitting trees like that is harder to do than just hitting it through the window I was aiming through. Especially that one. Back to the mashie though. Put my weight forward on that shot and just kind of drove the club behind the ball to keep it low, and I was real happy with that, even though it ended up in the bunker. Here I'm using the Walter Hagen Ironman. This is one of the carryovers from my previous play set. Hit that into the porta potties. But here I'm using my duplex putter that I cut down so that I could use it as a trouble club. I used this a couple times in this round. You'll see a better example of that later on. But I'm pretty excited about that little club. It's basically a left-hand, right-hand putter, and I just cut the shaft down significantly so that I could use it for left-handed shots around trees or things like that. Pretty happy with that club. So as Bill lines up this short putt to get us off the 4th green, wanted to share with you what the proposal is for this site. A few years ago, Tiger Woods Design Group was asked to pull together an 18-hole proposal that would include Jackson Park to the north and South Shore. It's a massive project that would include the Obama Presidential Library, but it's currently on hold because of funding issues. Here's South Shore today. The proposed layout would have 5 holes that would utilize the shoreline better. It looks like a cool project on paper, but I've got some thoughts about this that I'll share with you later on. Bottom line is it's on hold right now, and we'll see where this goes. Now back to the action. Number 5 is a par 3, 149 yards. Got out of bounds on the right side. That's the horse stable for the country club back in the day, which the Chicago Police Department has been using as its stable for its horses. Bill with a decent tee shot there, just got over the back of the green. I ended up pushing mine right using the Tom Morris mashie, came up short. This is a false front green, and whoever was cutting the cups on this particular day really had it out for the golfers because they put it right on the ridge, as you're about to see.
I had the right idea, just hit it too hard.
This is probably the toughest pin placement you can put on this green. I put a little too much pace on that, I'll give you, but that did not slow up at all around the cup, and I found myself down at the bottom of the false front. Bill had a similar line putt as mine. Really tried to ease up on that, and just watch this thing take off.
Welcome to the bottom of the false front.
So we got ourselves a little putting contest here. Bill's going to go first.
Dang. Oh.
Somehow he got that to hold up. So let's see if I could get as lucky as Bill. Nope.
I didn't hit that hard enough. I deserve this.
All right, let's give it another try. It was pretty much the same spot, but somehow that one held up. Bill just got unlucky there. I think actually that putt went in, but the noodles, they had COVID noodles in the cups, were cut a little too high in my opinion, and putts that would have dropped I think were skimming right over the noodles. So I'm going to give that putt to Bill. Anyway, moving on to number 6, par 4, 380 yards. Getting close to the lake again here. Here's a beautiful drive.
Oh, it's a beauty.
By Bill, his best of the day.
Nice draw on that. Thank you. Yeah, that felt really good.
Here's a closer look at the club I'm using off the tee these days. That's a McGregor Master Brassy with a fancy face. It's an authentic club. As I mentioned, I'm using all authentics now. I feel like in the spirit of the channel, it makes the most sense for me to use authentic clubs because I'm trying to show you that you can still play with 120-year-old clubs. And while I have nothing against the replicas, I just prefer using authentics going forward. Here's a pretty good approach with the Tom Morris Mashie. So as we get closer to the green here, you're going to notice a temporary wall that's behind the back of the green and on the right side. As I understand it, that's because the beach is starting to erode in those areas and the shoreline's creeping closer and closer to the golf course. The Tiger Woods proposed design would obviously take care of those issues, but if that project doesn't happen, this hole is at risk of literally getting swallowed up by Lake Michigan, and they'll have to do something more permanent in order to keep this hole open. So that's one of the interesting dilemmas that compounds the situation here at South Shore. Either you lose the golf course altogether to the 18-hole Tiger Woods design course, or you have to figure out a way to permanently shore up the shoreline and kind of hold nature back a little bit. All right, moving on to number 7, par 3, 177 yards. Bill pushes this tee shot right. Looks like it's going to be in trouble, but there's actually a clearing over there on your way to the beach, which is part of the country club.
Nice shot. Thanks.
That was my best shot of the day with the Tom Stewart J iron. Put me in a good position to use my duplex treble club once again. Figured out that I could pop the ball up out of the rough, and I was thrilled to figure that out. That's a cool shot that I'll be using quite a bit. There's a nice out from Bill.
It's a good out. Had some spin on it.
Just put a little too much pace on that one. Didn't catch the line quite right. Yeah, I didn't see the line on that either. All right, number 8's a par 4, 307 yards. Bit of a dog leg left like the first hole. Ended up popping that tee shot up. That was kind of the tendency. This is before I applied the single plane approach to my full swing.
Great shot.
So I'm still using the old full swing with new putting technique and at this point kind of a hybrid chipping technique that includes single plane, and where I wasn't hitting good shots with it, I'd go back to the old way. But now I'm sticking with it 100%. So that was another good shot with my Mashie, but it ended up in this bunker. Didn't hit record fast enough to get our sand saves, but this is where we ended up out of the bunker. And that's a pretty good putt. So back to the issue with the Tiger Woods proposed design course. There's obviously a lot of information on this out there that you can read about. I'll put the links for those in the description for the video. We're heading home here now with a short par 3, 121 yards, well protected by bunkers. I've got my own opinion on what I think should happen with this golf course and with the Tiger Woods design. The bottom line for me is that I'm all in favor of giving as much public access to golf as possible, and I'm not sure turning 27 holes from 2 golf courses into one very popular 18-hole golf course will be able to accomplish that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my opinion on it. I think both of these courses, South Shore and Jackson Park, serve the community well, and I hope that if the project does go through, that they figure out how to give the community just as much access, if not more, to the new golf course, as popular as that one's going to be. But that's just my 2 cents, as the noodle robs me of a drained putt there, and Bill sends us home with a nice short one of his own there. Thanks for watching this course vlog of South Shore Golf Course. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back next week with another video. In the meantime, check out these 2 videos from my archive, which include my other round with Bill at Willow Hill in Northbrook, Illinois. Thanks again, folks. See you next time. Please like and subscribe.